our national intelligence estimates, which, if you don't know, is the collection of all of our intelligence community's conclusions. They've gotten together and they came up with a doozy and said Iran doesn't even have a nuclear weapons program. Not that they're going to take a while, not that, hey, you know what, they're going to have a lot of trouble putting together the nuclear weapon that they're making. They're not even trying to make one at this point. And if they were trying, which they're not trying, it would take them into the next decade to make it, anywhere from 2010 to 2015, because they had technical problems before they even got started. And it says, to the best of our knowledge now, that Iran is not, let me give you the exact quote, actually. Quote, Iran currently is determined, oops, got the wrong quote. To the best of our knowledge, basically they say, and I'll get you the exact quote in a second, that they're not even trying to make a weapon. Okay, so, but that's not what we heard from the president in October 17th. He had something else to say, which is curious because apparently, according to Stephen Hadley, he got this report at least several months ago, which he said might have been August, might have been September, might have been October, and as we heard from press reports, it actually might have been a year ago. So the president very likely knew that Iran did not have a nuclear weapons program when he said this.
So I told people that if you're interested in avoiding World War III, it seems like you ought to be interested in preventing them from having the knowledge necessary to make a nuclear weapon.
All right, by the way, I got you the exact quote. At that point, the president knew that the intelligence had said, quote, we continue to assess with moderate to high confidence that Iran does not currently have a nuclear weapon program. So President Bush is talking about World War III and their nuclear weapon program when he knows they don't have one. Now, Christy, did you catch the lawyerly argument that his people are going to come back and say in that quote?
No.
What's
the little? I'm so bad at picking up their verbal tricks.
Yeah, here's their cute little trick in there. You know, we have to stop them from acquiring the knowledge to make a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
And then he can come back and say, well, of course I knew they didn't have a nuclear weapons program, but we have to stop them from even acquiring that knowledge so that they could later have a nuclear weapons program, so that later we could bomb them, so that later we could have World War III. What, you didn't catch that? Of course that's what I meant.
They started with that already, yesterday. They were saying, you know, well, we're not saying that Iran was a problem because they had a weapon, but because they want a weapon. Well, you know what? I'd like $1 million in a new car, but doesn't mean I'm going to get it in the next decade. You know, it's that other little trick they're doing. And the other quote I liked from the report said that, and this is right from the NIE, Tehran's decision to halt its nuclear weapons program suggests it's less determined to develop nuclear weapons than we've been judging since 2005. So they're not even determined to do it. And Tehran just has this pipe dream that, yeah, it'd be great to have nuclear. Fabulous.
Yeah, and at this point, the intelligence doesn't even indicate that they even want it. So I don't even know if they do want it. I don't even know if they think it would be great. So, by the way, this is the same exact trick they used with Saddam. When they got caught that there was no WMD at all, they said, oh, yeah, but he could have one day acquired the knowledge to make WMD at a later time. That's why we had to kill him. Which then applies, by the way, to every single country in the world. One day, the Philippines could acquire the knowledge to make nuclear weapons, so let's go kick the living crap out of the Philippines.
I hope we don't go to war with the Philippines.
But you never know.
Now I'm nervous.
Because seriously, that applies to Canada, that applies to Botswana, that applies to every country in the world.